I know this might sound insane, but I swear to you, everything I'm about to say is true. I didn't believe in curses, ghosts, or any of that crap. I was a skeptic until that night. It was late October, the kind of cold that bites into your skin. I had just left my friend's engagement party and thought I'd save some time by cutting through the forest. Dumb idea. No one ever goes into Graven Hollow after dark. The locals say it's cursed, haunted by something. But I wasn't local, and I didn't believe in bedtime stories. The deeper I went, the quieter it got. No birds, no wind. Just this heavy silence pressing against my ears. My flashlight started flickering, and I could hear something, no, feel something, moving just beyond the trees. Then I tripped. Face first into wet, half-frozen soil. As I pushed myself up, my hand brushed against something cold and hard. At first, I thought it was a root, but when I turned my light on it, it was a hand, a skeletal, half-decayed hand reaching out of the ground, and on its bony finger was a ring, a golden ring. Don't ask me why. Maybe it was the cold or the whiskey still in my blood, but I picked it up, slid it off the finger, just for a better look, I told myself. That's when I heard it, the whisper, right next to my ear. It wasn't the wind. "You've made your vow." I froze. My heart slammed against my ribs. Then the ground beneath me started to move. Something was coming out of the earth. I tried to run, I swear I did. But my legs wouldn't move. It was like the cold had rooted me to the ground. My breath came in short, sharp gasps as the soil in front of me cracked open like dry skin, and something began to rise. At first, I thought it was a hallucination. No way a human body could move like that. Its limbs bent the wrong way, dragging behind like wet cloth. Long strands of black hair, dripping with mud and God knows what else, spilled over a torn wedding veil. And then I saw her face, what was left of it. Pale, bloated in some parts, sunken in others. Her lips were torn, but curled into a smile, like she'd waited centuries for me. One eye was cloudy white. The other was missing. "My love," she croaked, her voice like wind scraping through dead leaves. "You came for me." My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. I took a step back, but her hand shot forward, faster than anything that rotten should move. She grabbed my wrist with bone-thin fingers, her nails biting into my skin. Who are you?" I stammered. "You made the vow," she whispered. "You placed the ring. The vow is sealed." "No, it was a mistake. I didn't mean to." "Do not mock the ritual," she screamed, and her face contorted with fury. The forest around us seemed to groan, like the trees themselves were leaning in to listen. She pulled me closer, her breath like open graves. I could smell earth, decay, something sweet and rotting. "The dead do not forgive abandonment," she hissed. And then something worse happened. The ground behind her began to shift. Other hands, other shapes, like she wasn't alone, like she had brought witnesses. I screamed, I begged, but no sound came out. Her hand tightened. She leaned forward and placed something cold against my chest. A pendant, shaped like a heart, carved from bone.
"We are bound, beloved,"
she whispered.
"Forever."
And in that moment, the forest went completely dark. Not just night dark, deeper, like the world had blinked, and when it opened its eyes again, I no longer belonged to it. I don't know how long I was unconscious, or if I even blacked out at all. Maybe I just slipped through the cracks between two worlds. Because when I opened my eyes, I was no longer in the forest. I was underground. It wasn't dirt and roots anymore, it was stone, carved walls, damp and pulsing like they were breathing. Torches lit with a sickly blue flame lined a narrow hallway, and at the end of it, music. A wedding march. Twisted, off-key, played on instruments I couldn't recognize by hands I never wanted to see. I was being led, no, dragged, by figures cloaked in shadows, their faces hidden, their hands cold as death. And at the end of that path, she waited. The corpse bride stood beneath a broken arch of bones, her veil flowing like smoke. Her dress was cleaner now, white, though stained at the hem. She held a bouquet made of dead thorns and blackened roses. The guests were already seated. I use that term lightly. Most had no flesh. Skulls tilted as if smiling, ribs creaked as they clapped in mockery. One turned to me and whispered, "Lucky number 13. She stepped forward. "My groom," she said, "say the vow." "I never agreed to this," I shouted, my voice cracking. This isn't real." The room went silent. Then something behind me growled, something ancient, hungry. She didn't blink. "Say it." Suddenly, pain bloomed in my chest. The pendant, it was burning. I dropped to my knees as the flames ran through my veins like liquid fire. The ground shook. The skeletons rose, lifting their arms. A creature, tall and crowned with rotting roots, stepped forward, the officiant. It opened a book made of stitched skin and began to speak in a language that made my ears bleed. She lifted her hand. The same ring I had pulled from her grave was back, glinting, waiting. "With this ring," she whispered, "I bind your soul to mine." And she slid it on my finger. Everything stopped. The music, the fire, even the pain. For a moment, there was silence. Then the dead erupted in cheers. The corpse bride leaned in close, her breath colder than ice. "We are one, my love." I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My throat was full of soil. The ceremony was over. But it didn't end, not really. Because in that world, things don't end. They decay, slowly, forever. I don't remember how I got to our home. One minute I was surrounded by laughter that sounded like bones breaking, and the next I was in a stone chamber lit by a single candle that never flickered. She was already there, waiting. "Do you like it?" she asked, motioning around the room. "It's where we'll spend eternity." I said nothing. My voice still hadn't come back. She sat beside me, humming something broken and beautiful. Then she leaned her head on my shoulder, like we were newlyweds on our wedding night. But I saw it, etched into the wall behind her. A name, a different one, followed by a date, and another, and another. 12 names, 12 dates, carved deep into the stone. And now I understood the whisper from the skeleton in the crowd.
Lucky number 13. I wasn't her first groom. I wasn't even her first victim. That night, while she slept, or whatever it is the dead do when they're quiet, I found a passage beneath the room, a tunnel that felt like it had been sealed for centuries. At the end, behind a cracked marble door, I found the truth. It wasn't a crypt. It was a prison. And she wasn't just buried. She was locked away. Dozens of rusted chains, symbols carved into the floor, bones of something not quite human scattered around, and a single book wrapped in what looked like skin. I opened it. Pages of rituals, curses, bindings, and one passage scrawled in blood-red ink. She was not betrayed. She was the betrayer, a witch bride cursed for stealing the souls of men. Her vow binds, her ring corrupts, her love consumes. I fell back, stomach twisting. My ring finger burned again. The band tightened, cutting into my flesh. Blood mixed with rot. Behind me, a voice, her voice, echoed off the chamber walls. "You went looking, didn't you?" I turned. She stood in the doorway. But she was different now. No veil, no dress. Just the raw, festering truth of what she really was. Her eyes, both of them now back, glowed with hollow fire. "You broke your vow," she hissed, "and now you'll join the others." The names on the wall, they began to glow, and beneath them, space opened up. Just enough room for one more.
I ran. Through the tunnels, past the cursed names, the broken bones, the twisted wedding songs, still echoing from somewhere far behind. I ran, like my soul could still be saved. But there's no escaping a vow. Not in her world. I don't remember how long I ran. Minutes, hours, days. The tunnel stretched and turned like a maze that moved with me, and she was always behind me, never running, just appearing, closer, closer. "You can't leave," she whispered once from the shadows. "You belong to me now. You said yes the moment you touched the ring." I found a room, a dead end, but with a mirror, the only one I'd seen down there. I looked into it, and I didn't see myself. What looked back was pale, lifeless. My eyes were sunken, my lips blackened. My wedding band had fused into my skin. I wasn't escaping. I was changing. That's when I heard her again, closer than ever. She stepped into the room, slow, certain, still in her bridal gown, but now it moved like smoke around her. Her hair floated in waterless air. Her eyes burned. "Every vow has a price," she said, reaching out her hand. "Yours is eternity." I fell to my knees, begging, pleading, "Please, why me?" She knelt beside me. Her cold fingers brushed my cheek. "Because you were foolish, curious, because you didn't believe." Then she kissed me, not soft, not loving. It was like drowning in ash, like soil pouring into my lungs. My heart stopped, and then restarted, but slower, colder. She helped me to my feet. "You are mine now, but your service has just begun." Behind her, a new door appeared, one I hadn't seen before. She pushed it open and light spilled in, not warm light, something older, hungrier. Inside were rows of others, men like me, bound by rings, hollow-eyed, half-dead, walking the corridors, guarding the gates, whispering the vow to others who wandered in. And at the far end, a mirror. Inside it, a forest, graven hollow, still waiting, still luring, and me, no longer trying to escape, just watching, waiting, for the next lost soul to step off the path